Hey Nathan, it's recovery month. Trying to drag the conversation about addiction out of the church basements and blinkingly into the daylight with a camcorder, a sofa and a very flimsy concept. Why? Because millions of people are suffering and thousands are dying. So I thought, give it a go. If it falls flat on its arse, at least it was worth a go. That's my approach anyway. I was going to buy some poppers to laugh at this point, but the special effects budget didn't stretch to it, i.e. there were none in Asda. So that idea's fallen over. But it is the year 2000. Won't it be strange when we're all fully grown? The Y2K bug, the Millennium bug, we've got to the year 2000, they're giving everything futuristic names. We're suffering from that thing they suffered in the 80s, where everyone suddenly thinks they're living in the future, which is a bizarre concept. So Y2K, the Millennium bug, start giving myself the name Nathan 2000 at this point. Surprise, surprise, nothing happened. The other half, my lady, the autumnal sun on a weary face, will be gutted because nothing's happened. All that panic for nothing. It's almost like they thought of the worst possible case scenario projected into the future and assumed that was going to happen. And if you're moving in these circles that I'm moving in now, they would call that a catastrophe mind trap. Who's been guilty of that in their time? Me, for one. The Tate Modern's opened. Don't know what your view on modern art is. Mine's mixed. Some of it I can see its worth, but a crisp packet lying on the floor that they've called The Eternal Ache of My Soul and a Polish Sausage. I struggle to see the relevance. Give me Rembrandt or Van Gogh any day. They started titling everything Millennium. Millennium Bridge was opened. It's the Millennium. The London Eye's opened. Disappointed they didn't call it the Millennium Eye. We had the Sydney Olympics. I like the Olympics. I can't help it. There's something comforting about an Olympics when it's on. Still got the London Olympics to come. Under my watch, you'll live that with me again. And by live it with me again, I mean I'll mention it briefly and you'll nod. PlayStation. The PlayStation 2's come out. This was massive. This was the game changer. Pardon the pun. PlayStation 2's come out. So how many they sold of the place? 100. I've got it down here in black and white. Well, it's not black and white. It's pencil on a shoddy bit of paper. 155 million consoles. This is when it went from just something that kids did and a few geeks to grown men getting involved and threats of it going online and all sorts. It's suddenly become okay to be grown up and play computer games. And if that's your thing, good on you. Not mine. The last computer game I played was called Sensible Soccer and it was on the Amiga 500. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but you know. Well, no, so yeah, everyone becomes obsessed with computer games and that continues to this present day. I think you can agree. There's all sorts, Halo and you know the other ones. Coldplay very popular at this point, which is good for people who like Coldplay. I would immediately crank up System of a Down to play over Coldplay's mediocrity at this point. Gladiator was out. Poor old Ollie Reed. One of my crew, Ollie, I think. His last lines in that film I thought rather profoundly was all I ever wanted to do was entertain people. A very talented man. And that's about it for 2000. That's it. I've done a dispatch with a whole year with the flippancy of a rebellious teenage schoolboy. So what's been happening? My father kindly. So I'm in bed last night. I'd fallen asleep. I'd done my usual sleep routine. Sleepy tea, highly recommended. Chamomile and bergamot and God knows what else in it. Works for me, really good. If you're having trouble sleeping, as I know many of you may, I certainly did. This stuff's brilliant. Sleepy tea, You'll find it in any good stockists. I don't know who makes it. You'll find it. Suddenly my whatever sound my phone makes goes off. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock in the morning. A text. Who's that? Rolled over. Thought this has got to be anyone who's in recovery and got friends in recovery. If you hear the phone go off or a text go off, I do my level best to answer it, see what it is, because it could be someone in a pickle, and the window of opportunity to speak to that person is small and could be bloody important. So there are certain people that I will always pick up the phone to if at all possible. It wasn't those people. It was me dad. It was Papa. Oh, Papa. 2 o'clock in the morning. What was his important message? You know what he had to say to me? It's 2 o'clock in the morning, son, and I'm up because we're going on holiday. He knows I want to go on holiday. It's a wind up, I'm sure of it. What he's done is he's got up earlier than my mum, too early because he always does, and he's now knocking about. He's sorted out the dog and fed the dog and got it ready to be put into wherever it needs to go. And he's now sitting there with a cup of tea and his porridge, and he's going to be bored. So he decided to text me at 2 o'clock in the morning. God love him. God love his working class art. I'll just text the boy. So I wrote back one saying, thanks Dad, very very happy you're going on holiday to Kefalonia, lovely place, and I'm sure he'll be very happy there. Spending my inheritance, come back. I just said, happy you're going to have a good time. Love you, and you're forgiven for texting me at this preposterous hour. And the subject, the old brain starts whirring on the subject of forgiveness. It has been today. Who am I to say I forgive you with the amount of stuff I've put him through? Very good question. At my graduation ceremony from Sharp's self-help addiction rehabilitation program, easy for you to say, I gave a little babble at the end thanking people, as everyone had the opportunity to, saying thank you, and at the end I forgave myself. How dare you? I hear you say. Well, I was told by a very wise man, Earl again, he had a lot of mentions, didn't he, Earl? When he asked me during this whole process, about halfway through, I was saying, asking forgiveness and forgiving that person, do they forgive me? And he said, in his very deep voice, when you're going to forgive yourself? When you're going to forgive yourself? Good question. And I always thought that forgiving myself was about, let's just wipe the slate. Whatever I've done, it doesn't matter. Let's just carry on. It's not that. It's not that. For me, it was a case of, wipe your mouth and move on. A little bit of that, but it was more of accepting what had happened, or what I've done. Not I've murdered anyone or anything, but obviously I upset a lot of people on the way, and didn't make some great choices, and as I'm sure a lot of us have got those things in our past. I have. You look back and thought, God, what an a-hole. But it wasn't about just saying, flippantly, there's a word flippant again, flippantly saying, all's forgiven, I won't remember what I've done. I do. I've accepted, though, that it will be part of who I am. And I believe you can turn that acceptance into a positive energy. I believe that wholeheartedly. If it's there, if you're not forgiving yourself, if there's a guilt, if there's a shame there, to me that would act as a blocker, a cork in the bottle, an inappropriate simile or metaphor, but stopping what could be some really good positive influences you could have on other people around you, on family, on friends, on yourself. Because you've got all this positive energy that you can just emit and throw out that's going to have a really good effect, a really good positive ripple effect on everyone around you, and that is stopping you doing that.
that in itself is a negative thing, a negative on top of a negative. When God gives you lemons, make lemonade. You can turn this into a positive thing. Accept it. Accept that it's an intrinsic part of you. All the stuff I've done in the past has led to me being here, has it not? Without that stuff I would not be me. It's the yin and the yang. One cannot exist without the other. They are intrinsically the same thing. You know, I'm thankful for my struggle because it gives me my strength. All the t-shirt slogans, but they are true nonetheless. Without the previous incarnation of me, this one here couldn't exist. And it's about that acceptance. I was reading a thing that the Dalai Lama, Nathan's taken on the Dalai Lama, got a bit above his station, but he was giving a talk, a speech. It was only a little thing I read, but he was giving a talk or a speech in regards to which very, very sadly was talking about reincarnation, and one of the students who was listening to his speech apparently committed suicide after this speech that the Dalai Lama had given because he thought he could get to a better life. That is what I read. When the Dalai Lama was asked, do you remember? Do you remember that? Of course, yes, he does. Do you remember it? Do you still have that feeling of guilt about that incident? And he said, yes, it's still there. That was it. Far be it from me to try and second guess the Dalai Lama, but I kind of, this is what it meant to me. I suppose that's what's important to me, right? So this is what it meant to me is, yes, he accepts it, it's part of him, but he's not going to dwell on it. That's good for no one. He's not going to dwell on it. It's intrinsically part of who he is. That experience is part of who he is and his reality. But to dwell on it is not good. Is not good and does no one any good. So that was kind of my whole take. That was kind of my whole take on it. But it's undoubtedly a subject that many people, not just people in active addiction or in recovery or in the myriad of anything in between, but it's undoubtedly things that human beings have to deal with. I've made a mistake. It's affected other people. How do I live with it? What's the best way? And that's would be for you to work out. For me, that's how I dealt with it. So there we go. That's me. So that was all from a text from my dad. If only he knew. If only he knew. Right now, with his laying back on his sun lounger and his in his yellow speedos, really lobster red already, with some beer or cocktail on the go. God, I'm one of those lucky people that can just have a recreational drink and enjoy it. Good luck to him. Not for me though. So that's pretty much it for today. It's Sunday. We've done other bits and bobs. Nothing super exciting, but I will. Oh yes, I will give you an update on the pasta bake with the matzo balls. Obsessed with the concept of the matzo ball. Even the word matzo ball, I love. Oh my God, it was good. It was good. I make a mean tomato sauce. More tomatoey the better, more garlicky, more oniony the better. There was some smoked bacon in there, and some balsamic vinegar, some Italian seasoning, lots of olive oil, some penne pasta, and it was all went together. Mozzarella in the oven. That does that bubbling thing. Leftovers today. I'll be having that. That's the dinner sorted, so we can relax. I'll be after this writing a little bit for a magazine. About my journey that someone's asked me to do. That's my dad again. So I'll be doing that. Other than that, I would say, we're talking to t-shirt slogans. I'll whack you with another one before we sign off for Sunday. If you're depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. If you're at peace, you are living now. So allow yourself to be beautiful, I implore you. You know what I'm going to say next. Peace and love. See you soon.